Hi there, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I like to make figures and paint figures and review figures. Everything figures, yeah, so if you like figures, what's up? Starting off here, I actually barely decided to learn how to use Blender because I wanted to make my own Doomslayer figure because none of them had the awesome dragon in it, which that's a separate video, this is a different one. So I decided to learn how to do that, and this is just one of the models I decided to throw into my actual dragon model build. This is actually the original imp from Doom, so he hasn't been in the game since, the first Doom. This is just things I picked up. And I decided, hey, fuck it. Let's make it. I think I could do this. And was I able to? I did pick up things along the way. First off, you have to constantly be remeshing things. Like, I didn't know that at first, so every time I made the dragon, I kept messing it up. It did come out good in the end, but it did take me a while to actually get the hang of it. As you can see here, it is a bit better. I'm like sculpting it out perfectly using the grab ones. My favorite tools here are using the grab, the crease, and all the crease ones, all the grab ones, and the flatten and smooth ones. Those two came in clutch. Also the draw ones. Specifically, I like to use the crease sharp, which I'm using here to get those sharp little edges. Which surprisingly, I did think that this whole blender thing, like sculpting, was gonna be way harder than it really was. For people that are afraid to do it, I say don't be. It's literally just like drawing normally, and the using the X and Y axis really helps a lot. As you can see, there's a bunch of divots and like it's looking really pixelated, which is why you have to constantly remesh it, which I just did right there. And if you don't know what remeshing does, it basically just fixes all the like shapes you've made, because it's all just a bunch of squares and triangles. And when you stretch out those squares and triangles, they eventually get distorted and get messed up, which is when you have to remesh it so you can stretch them out even more or get a very like sharp point. But you don't want to put too much pixels on it, because that way you might overdo it, which I do in a little, and that's when my thing crashes, because I put way too much polygons and I remeshed it to a amount that was just overdoing it, which you shouldn't do. And I freaked out because obviously you could see there I didn't save. So luckily autosave came in clutch, and I just came back here, started doing it again. If you're wondering, it did crash a little bit sooner. I just started to remesh it, and then I started the recording again. Which right here you can see me actually manually doing the teeth, because I thought that was gonna be easier. And changing the mouth position because I didn't really like how it looked. This is just me smoothing things out, adding different creases here and there. So I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit and let you guys just watch. Unless I have some other input, then I'll bring it back and I'll start talking again. Some other thing that came in clutch, which I decided to start talking about, was this brush right here. I bought this pack of brushes, which lets you have different kind, like the teeth right there, as you can see. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, depending on the polygon count, because that does matter with the brushes. You have to have a certain amount of polygons and remesh count for it to work, because if you don't have it, it will just pull like some random amounts, which I didn't know until then. And this is me just reshaping the face because I didn't really like it. So obviously there is some struggles I had here, like with issues, just proportions, because once again, this was my very first time ever using Blender. Well, kind of. Not my very first time using Blender, but basically my first time ever using Blender. And my first time, definitely my first time ever sculpting something like this. Just sculpting in general, actually. Which, in the end, I do think it came out very well. If you're wondering how long this entire process took me of making this thing, it only took me an hour and 30 minutes, which is basically just 2 episodes of Supernatural. So you could just watch Supernatural and just sculpt. Which, if you're wondering, yes, I did do that. Here was just me making the teeth in the bottom bigger, because I realized I just didn't like the way they looked. This is me just reshaping it. Elastic grab is the perfect brush. Just grab and elastic grab are the best brushes for reshaping your figure or your model in case you just messed up. It's just me adding some cracks in the teeth, stuff like that, to add like separation to it. give it that more detailed look. It's just adding a bunch of creases and like scraping it and stuff like that. That's actually the masking tool, which I didn't know how to use until recently. But, you know, it's a masking tool. Whatever you highlight won't get hurt. Or it won't get affected by sculpting. I don't know why I said it won't get hurt. It makes no sense. This is me once again shaping the head. Initially, this model was just meant to be a severed head for my Doom figure, but I decided to go crazy and give him his entire body. See, the good thing about a figure like this one is the fact that there's so much detail in it that if I mess up one little thing, it doesn't affect the, you know, the look of it that much, because it's humanoid. It doesn't really matter if it's like not proportionate or perfect. I understand that if you're making something like a anime figure or something like that, like an anime or cartoon figure, since there's hardly any detail on those, the details that are there matter so much because it's the only things that stand out. So you can't have an eye be crooked, you can't have an eye be the wrong shape, you can't do any of that. But when it comes to an overly detailed model like this one, as long as it's overly detailed, it's fine. Nothing has to be perfect, which I noticed. But yeah, this is just me adding the finishing details of just sculpting a bit. Here I retexture, but I didn't show you guys because, you know, it's a lot of work. Which is basically just grabbing one of my brushes that I had and just going over all of it with this bumpy skin texture to make it look better. Besides on, like, you know, the teeth and the mouth and like areas I think that flesh would be, and like the bones area, like the hard areas that look like it'd be like bone or like part of his skull. And this is the finished model right here. I rigged it. Obviously I didn't show you guys the entire process because that would be a lot. Rigging it was also a pain. It was just the fact that I overdid the poly count. This is me just showing off the rigged figure. The rig is just kind of easy. I got this thing called rigidity or something like that, Rigify. I think it's called Rigify, and you just put the skeleton in there, line it up, and just do that. I'm not gonna, unless you guys want a tutorial for it, I could do it later. I'm not a pro at it. I just quickly did it. Once again, this is just one day of learning and teaching myself how to do it. But besides that, I hope you guys have a great day, and please like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. You might enjoy those, and be on the lookout for a Doom sculpted figure. And besides that, have a great day.